further ado, I'm really happy to introduce Amal Kasry, who's joining us today, I guess from Paris. She's working at UNESCO.
Yeah.
She's the chief of section for basic science, research, innovation, and engineering. And just to give you a very brief background about her, she has a PhD in biophysics and was working on biosensing applications, I assume, throughout a large part of her career. She actually has a very rich experience in academic research and has worked in different places around the world at different institutions. She was an assistant professor at the British University in Egypt before then being appointed as the director of the University of Nanotechnology Research Center. And yeah, now she's been since I think May 2021
Yes, correct.
the chief of section for capacity building in basic science and engineering at UNESCO. And so we're very excited to hear your take, your take on this, and we're very excited to hear your talk. And now I think I will stop now and I will let you share your screen.
Okay, thank you very much, Sophie. I can start sharing and then I can, I hope you see my screen.
Yep,
Yes,
I can see
okay,
it's in
perfect.
full screen mode.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Let me start by really thanking you. I highly appreciate this invitation and speaking about this interesting topic, which is actually very much linked to what we do at UNESCO because one of our main mandates besides our objectives is actually to do partnerships because we cannot achieve our mandates and objectives without partners. UNESCO is an intergovernmental organization, as I will show you, and this means we have to work directly with the partners, with the governments, and with also institutions, civil societies, the NGOs, within the different member states and also under the overall authorities of the governments. So again, thank you, Yara, Sophie, Ansha, and everyone else for this opportunity. So I chose this subject, strengthening capacity building basic sciences and engineering through partnerships because this is actually there is one thing missing. I'm so sorry, there is a mistake in the title. I apologize for that. Because actually this is what we do. This is our major mandates: capacity building in basic sciences and engineering. And I will start by just a couple of slides about partnerships in general, which I'm sure you know these principles, and then the rest of the presentations will be about what we do at UNESCO, and through what I will present, you will see how we actually build the partnerships and how partnerships are and the funders are very important in order to achieve our objectives. So understanding funders, this is really the most important thing. We need to understand how our funders think and what they want, what are the needs. So we need to effectively engage with funders, and this requires really a comprehensive understanding of their priorities. Also, the projects must align with the goals of these funders, especially in some key areas which are very specific, like STEM education, for example, gender equality, open science. There are certain priorities that the funders would like to achieve, and we have to understand the criteria of these ideas so we can also develop criteria for fundraising. We need to align the projects also with the goals of the funder because this successful alignment are essential for securing the fund. Also, especially if you are talking about long-term projects and long-term impacts. And there are certain mechanisms that you can follow in order the effective collaboration, the regular meetings, the clear communication if anything is not clear. And of course, as I mentioned before, the shared objectives have to be also clear. These mechanisms help both parties to align their thoughts and understand the needs of each other before going ahead with the partnerships. So now let me go to UNESCO and what we do. So I'm sure you know about UNESCO. UNESCO was established in 1946 as one of the UN agencies, which are specialized in fields like science, culture, education, and others. Currently, we have 194 member states, and the main objective is to contribute to peace. We contribute to peace through these topics, education, science, and others, and culture, of course. So 80 years now, again, I need to correct the number, I'm sorry, 80 years actually of experience in promoting international collaboration. International cooperation is one of the major activities we do. So in order to get into or take you into a journey on what we do with UNESCO, these are the five, let us say, five main mandates or things that UNESCO do. We are a laboratory of ideas. We work with member states on initiating several ideas that we hope member states can continue and develop further. Policy analysis and the development, policy analysis and policy advice as well. Standard setter, we have a series of recommendations. I'm sure you heard the two most recent ones, maybe recommendation on open science and recommendation on the ethics of AI, where we help member states to develop kind of instrumental instruments in order to develop some regulations when, especially when for emerging technologies, for example, like AI. Also, it's a catalyst and a motor for international cooperation. And finally, capacity building. Capacity building is also very, it's actually one of the main mandates in all sectors of UNESCO. UNESCO, the S that you see in UNESCO has a meaning, which is the science, the natural science sector. It was one of the sectors that started from the very beginning at UNESCO. And why we have natural science sector, or actually what motivates us, what helps us, what is beyond our work plans at the natural science sector. It's mainly the global challenges. We are trying to tackle the global challenges, find solutions, and based on that, we develop our objectives and mandates. Failure of climate change mitigation and adaptation, extreme weather conditions, natural disasters, either man-made disasters or environmental disasters or war or natural disasters. Biodiversity loss is also a huge concern, ecosystem collapse, water crisis. All these things are major challenges that require us really to try to find solutions, because they cause a lot of pressure on the planet and on the natural resources. There could be many conflicts due to these challenges, extremism, violence, people being displaced from their hometowns or countries or homes because there is a lack of water or lack of food. All these are challenges we need really to find solutions for. And this is what motivates us. And we do this through several international and intergovernmental programs. So we have the Intergovernmental Hydrological Program. This is for water management. We have the Geopark Geoscience Program. We have the Man and the Biosphere Program that focuses on the biodiversity loss. And of course, we have many others. And through all these, we are trying to also achieve the Sustainable Development Goals until 2030, as was proclaimed by the United Nations. We also have two important entities, International Center of Theoretical Physics. If there are physicists in the audience here, I'm sure they know about ICTP, and to us, the World Academy of Sciences. Both are UNESCO entities. ICTP is a UNESCO Category 1 center. To us, the World Academy of Science is a unit under the natural sciences sector. Both are very important in building capacity in the developing world, supporting scientists in the global south. And you see the numbers here reflect really what the amazing work they do. So now let me go, and I'm going narrower now to what we do. So in the Division of Science Policy and the Basic Sciences, we work on three different major things. First, building capacity in basic and applied sciences and working on the new technologies, the emerging technologies. In all these things, we help member states. We work directly with member states, with the governments. So capacity building in basic sciences, also support in policy development and open science, and also indigenous knowledge. We work on helping the indigenous people to preserve their knowledge and also benefit from their knowledge. One of the things that is being done. And I like to present when I come to basic science and applied science, I like really this metaphor thing that we have the basic science as the roots, and the applications are really the fruits because without investing in the fundamental science, we will not be able to have all these amazing technologies that we are using right now. So it is, let us say, kind of advocacy for basic sciences, because we see quite often that many of the scientists and many of the governments, they don't invest enough in basic sciences because our applications can have results quite fast, and this takes us to how science is being measured. And I will come to this at the end. The way science is being measured now focuses more on the really quick achieved results and number of publications and so on, while actually we need to be more careful, because without investing on the basic science, on the long term, the impact will be very low. Now we specifically now about basic sciences and engineering, we have three major programs. But again, I reiterate, we build the capacity, technological and engineering capacities, institutional and human capacities. We invest also, help member states to invest in that, and we create networks. This is also very important, the scientific networks that we create to share knowledge and to share experience. We have three major programs in this field. We have the basic sciences and the basic sciences program, engineering program, and the STEM program. In the basic science and engineering, we focus more on working with the early career scientists and researchers, the research institutes, universities, science academies, scientific unions, in order to develop programs, again, as I said, to build both institutional and human capacities. If you see any QR code in my slides, please try to take a look on what we do. In the STEM program, we focus more on the school teachers and the school students, building their capacities, trying to help them advance in the STEM, and trying to build their critical skills, how to think, how to judge. These are one of our aims as well. So we work, as you see, in really wide range of different activities. We have our international basic sciences program. This is like the umbrella for basic sciences activities. And in this one, we have a advisory board, scientific advisory board, that provide advices to the Director General of UNESCO and to us as responsible for basic sciences on how to advance the field of basic sciences, given also the new development and the very vast development in the field. We have two very important tools, which are UNESCO Category 2 centers and UNESCO chairs. UNESCO Category 2 centers are centers of excellence, and all this, every single thing I mentioned so far is based on partnerships. For example, the Category 2 centers now are centers of excellence supported directly by the government. So we have to partner with the government. We have to ensure that the government is providing enough support and enough fund to these centers in order to help us achieve our objectives. So in the field of basic sciences and engineering, we have 23 Category 2 centers so far, with very strict criteria on accepting these centers, because the governments have to apply. Regarding funding, regarding organization, regarding capacity building activities they do, regarding the fund and the fund mechanism and the funding models they have. So we have in the field of basic sciences and biotechnology, and renewable energy, engineering, space technology, all these fields are covered in these Category 2 centers. And for us, I say it is they are important tools, because we work with the expertise in these centers in order to develop the work plans, help us in implementing our activities. If we go to Africa or Asia, we don't have the capacity, of course, to do everything by ourselves. We need to work with the external partners and expertise. The graphs that you see here in the bottom are the results of a survey that we ran to understand what these centers do, and you can see that some of them work on capacity building, some more on the research, on the fundamentals, some more on the outreach and advocacy. And by understanding what they do, we can know whom to approach when we want to develop a new project. Also, UNESCO chairs are important, is an important program. Chairs are eminent scientists in their field, prove that they have good science achievements, good scientific achievements, some capacity building activities, student research groups, Again, you see all these fields covered in our UNESCO chairs: metallurgy, engineering, earthquake engineering, green chemistry, environment, cryobiology, a really wide range of. So when we have new projects and new ideas or something emerging, we can reach out to these experts and ask them for support. Now I'm going to talk about, and actually this slide is missing some information, but okay, sorry about that. I'm going to explain. This is one of the most important initiatives right now we are working on, and also it is really a great example of partnerships and funding. This is remote access to scientific equipment, and I'm sure colleagues here, Yara and the other colleagues, they know about it because we have discussed this previously. The idea here is that in the global south, if we take Africa as an example, because Africa is a priority for UNESCO, there are many sophisticated techniques needed for characterization or for other applications. They are not available. And this is really a huge constraint for the scientists. They need either to travel, to wait for a fellowship, establish collaboration, send samples abroad to be measured. All these things are temporary solutions. First, because if you have the fellowship, some of them don't go back, which is a huge brain drain problem, or they go back, but unfortunately they cannot continue the research because they don't have access to facilities. And the idea here is how to support them to enhance the resilience, to allow them to build research groups in their countries, to allow them to advance the research in their countries. And in the long term, the impact will be that we have a strong research and the quality research in these regions. So we start by identifying the needs first, and then try to match the needs of the scientists with the availabilities of these equipment or facilities. And then we select one or two to be trained to act as focal points, while the others will be trained remotely on how to access remotely. The idea of training one or two physically is just to have someone aware of what's going on, that they can act when there are some errors or something like that. And the others are being trained remotely, and with time everyone is using the equipment remotely, and they can do research. We started with one model with the help of three partners, in fact. CNRS here in France, one of the also international research facilities, also the International Union of Crystallography, and Lorraine University. So you see, these are three different entities, and four, in fact, different entities: UNESCO as intergovernmental organization, scientific union, like a union of crystallography, International Union of Crystallography, that has many scientists in the field, a research center like CNRS, and a university. So these are different, however, they came all together for such one project, and this is this can give you an idea what partnerships, how can partnerships work. And university is providing the access to the equipment, while the others are providing experience, expertise, and funding as well. And then we with time now we have I miss the numbers, unfortunately are missing here, but we managed to give full access to this equipment to 4 countries now in Africa, and in total 11 were trained. We are in the way of giving access to the others as well, and now we are expanding this to other techniques and other regions as well. So we seek partners all the time. This is a continuous process in order to advance this initiative. This initiative started really to gain a lot of interest and a lot of visibility, and we started to receive a lot of questions and requests for people to help us, which we are very glad. Again, we did this with member states. We sent a call to all member states urging them to encourage their institutions to help and support us. And you see all these techniques. We hope at some point that we can have all these techniques available. Of course, there are a lot of challenges. We are not denying them, and we are working on resolving them. We need more accessibility. We need more partners willing to give us access. We need these partners to develop also some rules and regulations regarding privacy and security and so on. We need to help the scientists in Africa to be able to prepare the samples that they can send to be measured like small laboratory equipment. We are also trying to provide them with that. How to send the samples, also some other political aspects that we work on resolving. We also have another initiative, which is the Science and Engineering Entrepreneurship Training Boot Camps. These are a series of boot camps that we started also less than 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago. And this one aims to build or to equip the scientists and the engineers with these innovative skills, like to take their innovative ideas from the lab to the market, because there are many brilliant scientists with really very good work, very good research, but then we don't want them to stop on the research. We want them to go beyond that, how to take these innovative ideas to resolve the major challenges in water and energy and healthcare. They need to really find solutions for that. So we train them on this. And we held 4 boot camps so far. 2 in Africa, 1 in Latin America and the Caribbean, and 1 in Asia. And the response was really great. And now we are trying really to, again, reconceptualize this to be more like innovation hubs in different regions. We also have many prizes. These are also one of the important examples of partnerships and funding, because these prizes are like big prizes with big amount of money. For example, the Equatorial Guinea Prize for Research in Life Sciences. This awards 3 big scientists every year. Each one has 100K US dollar. In addition to a new program we introduced to it, which is to fund the 2 African female scientists every year. So this is an example of this fund is coming directly from the government of Equatorial Guinea to support scientists. Also, we have an Al Fawzan Prize for STEM. This is funded by a Saudi foundation. We have the Carlos Finlay Prize, a small prize but very prestigious, started from the 80s last century, funded by the government of Cuba. Also, we have a grant program, the Green Chemistry for Life, which is funded by a Russian company, Fosagro. And this is really to develop, it's a 1-year grant program started in 2013. And it awards like really brilliant scientists in the field of green chemistry to find solution in this field. So far, about 55 scientists were granted during the past 10 or 12 years. And there are also other examples of these grants. Now, I would like to take you to another very important initiative that, again, partnership is very important, and I will explain why. International Decade of Sciences for Sustainable Development. We look at this decade really as really a transformative era. This is from 2024. It started beginning of this year, and it will last until end of 2023. 10 years of really plans and work and involvement of everyone in order to make some changes and achieve some certain objectives and ultimate goal of building a culture of science. We have many challenges facing the field of science that we really need to address carefully. First, we have lack of institutional support, recognition. We have huge problem of disinformation and misinformation. We have seen this clearly during COVID. Inequalities, which is growing, unfortunately, in the field of science. Also limited recognition of the importance of the fundamental sciences and many others. These challenges really urged some member states to both scientists and member states to think that we need really an initiative to tackle these challenges. And this is how the United Nations General Assembly proclaimed these 10 years to be the International Decade of Sciences for Sustainable Development. The vision of this, we started, of course, implementing and developing plans. Excuse me. So the vision is that sciences and the science culture required for a sustainable world are developed and accessible to all. And our mission to achieve this is to engage all societal actors to further advance science and equally benefit from it. So this, as you see here, I'm not gonna read these are the two major objectives. However, we have five major expected outcomes that we really hope to achieve. First of all, we want to equip the community with enhanced scientific literacy. Scientific literacy can have different definitions, but for sure there are different baselines from one region to the other. While it's quite high in some regions, it's really, really low in other regions. And we really need to work on enhancing the scientific literacy to fight misinformation and disinformation and to get people, everyone really involved in the process. Actionable scientific knowledge need to be developed and to be produced. Basic sciences to be advanced. Policymakers have to be convinced that basic science is important and to invest more in basic sciences. Open science, sharing information, sharing knowledge, democratization of scientific processes. This is very important. And finally, the national innovation systems are transformed. And by this, we mean how the science is being performed, how the policies that govern the way science is being performed and being measured. They really have to. So it's not only about the public, it's about the scientists, the public, and the policymakers. Everyone has to be involved in contributing to achieving these objectives. And there is a current call now, and this takes me to the partnerships and the funding. The call, the purpose of this call is mainly to give a clear message that this decade is for everyone. We are not, it's not UN, it is a UN initiative, but it's not about UN or UNESCO or any other UN agencies. It's about everyone in every corner on earth. We have very clear strategy, which is to decentralize the activities. We want everyone to do the activities, to work with us, and to deliver. And this is how we can achieve this, the objectives or the results or the expected outcomes of this decade. So the call in this QR code, it will take you to how to submit the initiatives to be implemented under the decade. The deadline is the 31st of December this year, but there will be 2 calls per year. So if you don't have a proposal now or you think your idea is not ready, you can also try again next year around May or June 2025. And this can be an activity, can be a project or a program. You will have the option to select, as long as it fulfills the criteria that you will see online. And the main criteria here is to achieve the objective, one or more of these 5 outcomes, among some other criteria, of course. We have also another very interesting and important initiative, which is the International Year of Quantum Science and Technology. This will be next year, 2025. Please take a look, because this one, and you see all these logos here, these are all the partners who came together to support this year. This is one of the really very enjoyable for me. It's a lot of work, but really enjoyable, because I cannot really tell you how much interest there is now with the field of quantum technology. It's really great that there are a lot of momentum, really huge momentum, because it is clear everyone who works in the field of science, specifically physicists, they know how quantum technology can change our world. And we are waiting to see how this will develop. And one of the most important things for us at UNESCO is really to reduce the gap, because specifically in this field, because it's expensive, it takes a lot of time and effort. Most of the investment currently are from the private sector, not the public sector. And obviously there is a huge gap right now between the North and the global South in this field. So one of our, we developed a strategy and a plan to do during the year and to achieve during the year. And definitely we have very clear target, which is to reduce the gap, help at least in reducing the gap between the North and the South in this field through education, through capacity building and others. So I think this is the same. I already mentioned that. And this is the end. I hope I give you some many examples of how partnerships and funding is very important. And I'm happy, of course, to answer your questions if you have. Thank you very much.